Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Hsd School Board special meeting of July 17th, 2020. It is 4:02. I deemed this meeting to be an emergency for reasons of transparency and to expedite information to the public as quickly as possible. I first need to read a COVID-19 related statement. As chair of the Hsd School Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen to this meeting by dialing the following phone number: 888-475-4499 or 877-853-5257. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom telephonetically. Instructions have also been provided on the district website at hampsteadschools.net. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please email hmstechnology@hampsteadschools.net. D, adjourning the public meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Melissa, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Malcolm?
I'm here alone in this room. However, there are other people in the house.
Mrs. Parnell?
Here, I'm alone in the room. There are other people in the house.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I'm here alone in the room with others in the house.
Mr. Sweeney?
Here, alone in the room, others in the house.
Mrs. Yasenka?
Here, alone in my office, there are other people in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so we called this meeting to address sealed board minutes. At last night's special school board meeting, the board entered into a non-public session. And when we returned to the public session, we held a vote which passed to seal the non-public minutes. So the first order of business we need to do is to have a motion to unseal the minutes. I'd be looking for a motion to unseal the July 16th, 2020 non-public meeting minutes and approve the posting of those minutes in draft form prior to the board's official approval of those minutes.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, before we vote, I just want to clarify to the board and to anyone else here what we're doing at this point. So we're both unsealing the minutes from last night and we're approving posting the minutes in a draft form so that those minutes are going to become public sooner than they normally would, because usually when we're approving minutes, it's at the next meeting and we've had time to review them. So although we've taken a first look at the draft, I am clarifying that these are a draft. They're quite simple minutes. We're not anticipating that there's anything wrong with them, but so I just wanted to clarify that. Is there any other discussion on this before we vote to unseal the minutes? Okay, seeing none, Melissa, will you please call the roll? Roll vote, sorry.
Mr. Flynn, it looks like Melissa's on mute.
Yeah.
1 second, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Ms. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
sorry, Mrs. Parnell, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Might be my internet connection. Thank you. Mr. Smith,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Sweeney,
yes,
thank you. Mrs. Yusenka,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Before we, that really is our order of business for today. However, I would like to read a statement, which will be going out in a more complete form after this meeting. We did need to wait to unseal minutes to do any sort of press release, but I wanted to, in a way, to give more information. I do have a statement prepared that I wanted to read to hopefully answer some questions. The past month has been one of unprecedented change and uncertainty for the Hampstead School District. As we face difficult decisions as to what form education will take in the fall, we have also engaged in discussion with the Timberlane School Board regarding its withdrawal from SAU 55. In late June, the Hampstead School Board was considering an agreement which it considered to be fair to both parties and allowed for high-quality superintendent services for both districts. On June 23rd, 2020, the Hampstead School Board voted to approve the agreement. Unfortunately, within 24 hours of the vote, the Hampstead School Board was informed that the Timberlane Board had rejected the agreement. Soon after this action, the Hampstead School Board received additional information that Timberlane was taking action through the SAU Board that would potentially leave the Hampstead School District without quality, stable educational leadership. The impact of such a decision in the middle of the COVID-19 global pandemic, during a transitional year to a single district SAU, and within 6 weeks of the start of the school year, would be devastating to Hampstead's educational community. Furthermore, we very recently learned that Timberlane had been in discussion with and negotiating with an individual to serve as an interim superintendent. This process was conducted without the knowledge or participation of the Hampstead School Board, and to date, no comprehensive plan for superintendent services has been presented to the Hampstead Board. After months of it being made clear to the Hampstead School Board that Hampstead interests would not be considered by the majority of the SAU 55 Board, through their actions of overuse of weighted voting and decisions being made without Hampstead input, the Hampstead School Board needed to take action to protect our students and staff. The Hampstead School Board, in a unanimous vote, made the decision to secure strong, consistent leadership to guide the district through these unprecedented challenges by contracting with Dr. Earl Metzler as our executive consultant for the period of 1 year. At a time when continuity and maintaining a stable environment is paramount, the board agreed this is a prudent action to move the district forward. As I stated, this is going to be going out in a press release with some additional information, but that was something that I felt needed to be addressed in this meeting. Any other board members who have comments or want to address anything, please feel free to speak.
So Caitlin, this is David. I know I've got some things to say here. I think the biggest one for me right now is there was an action taken in the last 24 hours that I would, in thinking about it, I would consider, and I would ask that we go into a non-public to discuss. Be under reputation.
Okay, so you want to put a motion for that now, David?
I do. I think that it's worth discussions just based on actions. And I know there's been a lot going on in the last 24 hours. And us as a school board here being able to talk about it, I think is important.
Okay, so I'd be looking for a motion to go into non-public under 91A:3, Section 2, C. Is it? So David, you're making that motion?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. If there's no discussion, Melissa, will you please call a roll vote?
Was that Ms. Malcolm that seconded that?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Shall I take roll call?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Malcolm,
Yes.
Mrs. Parnell,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Sweeney, can you repeat that?
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Yasenka,
No.
motion does carry 4-0 to go into non-public.
4-1 though.
Sorry, 4-1. Thank you. Mrs. Yasenka abstained. I mean, Mrs. Yasenka voted no, sorry.
Vote.
Okay. For everyone else on the meeting, we'll be back.
Do we have to be back? I mean, we were done anyways, right?
Go.
Okay, thank you. We have adjourned from non-public. We are back in public as of 4:48. Do board members have anything else to bring before us today?
No.
Okay, as I mentioned, that public statement is going to be going out with the information I read, as well as a little bit of additional information. And I know the board has received correspondence, and we are working to respond to everyone as best as we can. So we are working on that. If you do have additional questions, please feel free to email a board member. Our email addresses are on the website. For the district, additionally, we will be having a meeting June 22nd, which is next Wednesday. The purpose of that meeting is to start hearing what our administrators and teachers are looking at in terms of school in the fall. So that meeting will be noticed. It will be put out on Zoom. And as I've mentioned to some people, but to put it out publicly on the discussion about school reopening, we will be having public input that the public is going to be able to weigh in. So this is the first step in our reopening discussion. It's not the final decisions. We know how much everybody wants a final decision on that as well. We are aiming for early August. You know, all of us on this board have either children in school or grandchildren in the schools, and just as much as the rest of you, we also want answers about what school looks like in the fall. And it's being worked on, and we're getting that information out as soon as we can make a final decision. And we'll be working to have additional communication to go out to families within the district to keep everyone updated.
Caitlin, you said June 22nd.
I'm so sorry. July 22nd. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. Redo that part. July 22nd. It is a Wednesday. It will be at 7 o'clock. Zoom will go out. And we'll go from there. Anything else from board members?
No, I'd just say thank you to the public for having some trust in us and know that we're doing the best for our kids and setting a standard for this coming year, that we need some strength and we need some leadership here, and we're doing the best what we feel we're doing in what we've selected. So thank you.
Thank you, David. That was well said. Okay, if there is no other action before the board, I will adjourn the meeting as of 4:51 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.